Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our CEO, Jocelyn Gunter.
Orlando, Florida. It's great to see so many of you here this week. It says a lot about what you think about this profession, about your role in this profession, and about leading change instead of being led by change. With all that is happening around the country and around the world, it's safe to say that many of you have been impacted by the natural disasters and are still reeling from the tragedies that have become all too commonplace in our world. You showed up despite those challenges. You've taken time away from work, away from home. You've taken time to focus on further developing yourself, your career, your organization, and this industry. We know that your time is precious, and it truly means a lot to have you all here with us this week. We hope to exceed your expectations, and I personally look forward to developing alongside you. Now, it's only fitting that we hold this important annual gathering this year in Orlando. More than 53 years ago, an agent of change named Walt Disney had a vision. He wanted to create a new prototype for an amusement park, one where his animated characters would mingle among not only children, but families in a place that offered an escape from their daily lives. I'm not sure that he expected 1,000 or so ARMA members and friends gathering here for an annual conference, but that's the thing about agents of change and leading with a vision. With the right one, many more doors will open. That's why we're here this week, to open doors, strengthen careers, and help shape the direction of this profession. As we just saw in the opening video, the profession of data and information management is exploding, entering a whole new world, and in many cases, uncharted territory. And it's becoming increasingly unstructured. In fact, according to the IDC, worldwide revenues for data and business analytics will go from $130.1 billion in 2016 to $203 billion in 2020. That's a compound annual growth rate of 11.7%. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't hear many conversations about this industry that doesn't include the word overwhelming. It is overwhelming for most people, and it can be overwhelming for all of us here. But that is great news for each of you. Now, there are a lot of ways to describe what it is you all do. One of my favorites is bringing order to chaos. It's what you do, and it's why you all have a really big role to play in this explosion of data and information. What you do with that role, however, is up to you, and being here today is a great start. Companies and organizations, for-profit and not-for-profit, private entities and governments are finding new and increasingly efficient ways of using data to do so much good. To find and drill for oil without harming the environment, to find water in drought-stricken and high-poverty areas, to help find cures for life-threatening diseases, and to more accurately determine the route of storms and hurricanes so that people can better prepare. We know this progress is a result of data analytics and data science, and it's relatively easy for the world to understand that this progress is associated with leveraging data. But the fact that the progress is dependent on the ability to access, trust, and protect that data and information is unfortunately harder for the average person to see. Another example, SafeSwarm, recently unveiled by Honda, uses vehicle-to-vehicle communication to allow cars to pass information on to other cars in the vicinity. So for example, alerts about an accident miles up the road could be relayed to cars miles back, enabling them to operate collaboratively and intelligently to avoid accidents and mitigate traffic. So this week, companies like IBM, Micro Focus, Aflac, and more will share with you how they are using data and information more securely and in better ways to improve our society. You will also hear this morning from today's keynote speaker, Jake Porway, how the company he founded, DataKind, is making data more accessible to those organizations who've never had the benefit of that information before. It's an amazing story that highlights the important work you all do as the gatekeepers of the most valuable asset we have as a collective society. And we have to keep asking ourselves, are we doing everything we can in this gatekeeper role? And sometimes more importantly, do we have what we need to shoulder this awesome and overwhelming responsibility? And we all know the flip side of that valuable asset, and that's the inherent risk access to this information has caused and will continue to cause. Seems like every day now we hear about the improper and dangerous ways information has been used. We've seen interference with democratic elections, hacking of personal data, computer virus attacks, and spreading of fake news through social media platforms. So the pendulum has shifted from organizations asking who can access the data, if we can collect the data, and how to leverage and protect that information, to more complex questions that involve your expertise throughout the information lifecycle. Today, the profession is grappling with the important moral, ethical, and sometimes political implications surrounding who should have access to this information. How should data and information be used? What information should be leveraged and protected? And where to turn to ensure that it's being used properly? Beyond that, what does it mean to be used properly? This is where that term overwhelming comes into play again. This pendulum shift from the questions about what we can do to the questions about what we should do make this a really exciting time for all of you. It means that organizations need professional knowledge of best practices, and that goes beyond what the technology can do, and oftentimes beyond the minimum regulatory requirements of what we're allowed to do. More than ever, this profession needs leaders. It needs more agents of change. It needs you like never before. For this very reason, this year's theme is Agents of Change. For our profession, our agents of change come from records managers to paralegals, data analysts to compliance officers, admins to CIOs. In some cases, traditional information manager roles, but in other cases, non-traditional roles. Some of you have many other roles in addition to managing or governing information. And while I'd urge you to fight for more time to focus on that endeavor, I think that message is going to come through loud and clear over the coming days. So anyone who touches records and information plays a role in managing, governing, securing, analyzing, safely disposing of information. Anyone in this room at this meeting, you all have the ability, and I would argue the responsibility, to be agents of change and help lead this profession through this exciting, unpredictable, and sometimes scary times. After all, as often said, in times of change and in looking for leaders, if not now, then when? If not us, then who? Now, for those of you who spend your time fighting just to be seen as a valuable part of this equation, and often sit by and watch others in your organization flounder to approach this explosion of data in a systematic and comprehensive way, I understand that this message of you as the hero might feel a little bit like whiplash. Well, but for one thing, you come to this conference to be validated in those all too common challenges, and we want you to leave feeling empowered to change that conversation back home. But also, this responsibility can't be understated. Not when you see what is happening and what could happen if we don't take advantage of the opportunity to impact the profession and this explosion in a positive way. As Mother Teresa once said, I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. Now, the ARMA community is passionate, knowledgeable, and has been leading through uncharted waters now for 62 years. So I'm not sure if I should say this with this particular slide up, but this community can make one hell of a ripple. Speaking of leaders, I want to take a moment to recognize the ARMA Board of Directors. Please stand as I call your name. President, Alona Cody. President-elect, Ryan Zilm. Immediate past president, Tara Ladner. You guys can keep standing. Treasurer, Michael Haley. And directors, Mark Chardak, Susan Goodman, Margaret Hermesmeyer, Mark Levin, and I'm happy to welcome 2 new members to our board, John Jablonski and Jason Stearns. And for all of our past presidents in the audience, please join them in standing. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now, I want to personally thank this board for their commitment to this community. They take the responsibility of representing all of you very seriously. So connect with them while you're here this week. I also want to thank all of you for the warm reception that I received when I took over the CEO role after our former CEO, Bob Baird, retired. We are fortunate to have Bob with us this week, and he remains an active part of our ARMA family. Please find him and catch up. I know that he would love that. Now I would like to invite to the stage another important partner of the ARMA community, Ray Davis with the AIEF, and Bill Bradford with Access, to announce this year's award winners.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ray Davis, and I am on the Board of Trustees for the ARMA International Educational Foundation. I am what a lot of my friends in this profession call a seasoned professional. I always tell them these are not gray hairs, these are wisdom highlights. Thank you very much. But in my time at ARMA, I have several mentors along the way. One of them, I don't think he's here today, and his name is George Darnell from the ARMA Nova chapter. And George told me something that doesn't apply any more than it does today, and that is, in a volunteer capacity, we can never say thank you enough. For those of you who don't know about the foundation, let me just give you a couple quick seconds and let you know that it was formed in the late 1990s, and through your generous donations, and we thank you very much for those donations, we have the opportunity to award scholarships and provide funding for research within our profession. And without your generous donations, we could not do that. So from the bottom of my heart and from all the trustees on our board, past and present, we thank you as well. Today, we're here to talk about a couple different scholarships that we provide. One is the Access Scholarship, and that scholarship started, this is now our second contract with them. They did a 3-year term of $25,000 over 3 years. And this is now the second $25,000, the first year of that $25,000 3-year period again. So a little more information on Access. Here's Bill Bradford, as we like to introduce him and say thank him very much, and Access, for helping us with this award.
Thank you, Ray. My name is Bill Bradford. I am the Regional Sales Executive with Access. But to me, more importantly, I am a Region Director for the Midwest Rocky Mountain region of ARMA. So on behalf of all of the Access team members around the world, we are extremely proud and excited to be part of this partnership. It was started in 2013, and as Ray said, we're donating $25,000 for a 3-year period, and we look forward to a long and continuing partnership with the AIEF with these scholarships. So thank you. Our first scholarship winner of a scholarship for $6,000 is Brett Wise. Our second scholarship winner of a scholarship for $2,000 is James Carpenter.
I think that is, okay, now you do have another slide. There you
Yeah.
go.
This is those funny moments that happen along the way. How do I say this tactfully? There is an organization that may or may not exist. I can neither confirm nor deny that it exists. I can neither confirm nor deny that I am a member of said organization. But we thank them as well. ARMA Nostra, over the last several years, has been, and their members have been generous enough to allow us to award $3,000 a year. And that goes into 6 individual certificate reimbursements for a RIM or IG certification. So whether it's a CRM, an IGP, or any other type of certification, they are eligible, and we are once again this year able to award 6 different $500 scholarships. So we thank ARMA Nostra very much for their participation. So thank you. We're good? Thank you very much.
I think because it's secret, it's just kind of hang around for a little while. Or maybe, okay. Thank you, Ray and Bill, and congratulations to our winners. I want to take a moment to recognize all the hard work that goes into this program. And I want to thank the members of the Conference Education Management Group. Could you all stand and be recognized? Thank you. I'm amazed all the time by the great work being done by the leaders of this community. Together we represent the best hope for the profession, and dare I say the world, to ensure that when leveraging information, the progress made wins out over the negligence, misconduct, and illegal acts. Again, exciting, challenging, and rewarding times. And it's time for our agents of change to unite and lead. So you have a big role to play in this overwhelming task of bringing order to chaos and guiding how information should be used. We also know that you don't always have the awareness, let alone the support, you need to fill this role. So what next? You're here today, so you're well on your way. You're members and strategic partners of ARMA, and that's even better. It's a big commitment of your dollars and time, and we appreciate it. Now we need you to become even more engaged, empowered, and confident in the role you play in managing your company's information. Join one of our local chapters. Reach out to your local partners. Take advantage of our mentorship and volunteer opportunities. Be thought leaders in your company and in your community. With all of our diversity, I hope we can find common ground in ARMA's comprehensive approach to IG, with a critical foundation of RIM and rooted in ARMA's standards and principles. If you're not sure or you're not quite there, stick with us as we work even harder from here on out to clarify our position in this industry. I believe it is our collective responsibility to make ARMA's authentic perspective go viral. If we can get the ARMA principles, standards, and best practices to be accepted as an integral part of an organization's success, we can create a whole new level of collective confidence in all areas where information is impacting the world. As I look around this room, the collective power is palatable. We need you, the profession needs you, and the world needs you. We are part of something very big, and we should all feel empowered and honored to be part of this critical moment in history where the management of information is evolving in such a complex way and impacting every aspect of our professional and personal lives. For some of you, this is a paradigm shift. For others, you're already there. That's the beauty of this opportunity to connect with your peers and experts in this space. Ask them how they got there. Starting right now, think big. Engage with your fellow peers. Participate in the education sessions. Enjoy the networking opportunities, and make the most of your time here together. You are the future of this industry, and together we are all agents of change. Thank you.